Scale is definitely important to advertisers, as you mentioned. What makes Disney different is the differentiated products and brands that we have. So ESPN has a very different audience from Hulu. Hulu has different audiences from Disney Plus. We also have Hotstar overseas. And then of course we have ESPN Plus. So the composition of our content and the composition of our audiences really helps advertisers drive scale at incrementality. So they're not really duplicating audience reach when it comes to Disney. Hulu drives significant incremental reach. We have 112 million monthly ad-supported users on Hulu AVOD. So it's really driving a lot of the consumption as it relates to streaming. Disney Plus has grown significantly, and the AVOD piece launched back in December, so that's driving incremental audiences. And then of course Disney ESPN Plus is sports all day, every day, in addition to some great storytelling. There's some really great live sports on ESPN Plus. So the differentiation of the content and the audience that it drives and the quality of the content is really what makes our difference. It's our point of difference. When you think about the IP that we have and that we serve fans with Star Wars, with Marvel, it's just really incredible the amount of IP and content and emotional connection that Disney advertising and Disney's content drives with consumers.
It's got to be great to have a conversation with an advertiser that starts with that flash of recognition of world-class content.
It's great.
You had mentioned Hulu,
yes.
And there's been a lot of learning from Hulu, and recently Disney Plus went to an advertising tier and is an AVOD now as well. How much of what was learned during, if you will, the Hulu years and the Hulu experience was transferable towards the launch of Disney Plus, and what were some of the things that was a conscious choice to start afresh with respect to insights?
Yeah, so Hulu, as you know, is one of the largest ad-supporting streaming services. And the great thing about Hulu, it was the innovation and the think tank innovation that happened at Hulu. There are natural insights about consumer behavior that we then turned into ad products like Pause and Binge. There's also capabilities such as Gateway Shop, so making shoppable transactions with Hulu and driving that through QR codes and driving customers to advertisers' sites to either learn more about a product or actually go to purchase, the path to purchase. That's all technology and capabilities that were engineered and pioneered by Hulu. We know that the Disney Plus audience is different. We also know that there's a lot of receptivity to shopping within a streaming service. You're still going to have some of that same behavior as it relates to Pause and Binge, and I think that some of those would be applicable. But there's certain things that we might not transfer over because of the nature of the content. So within a 2-hour movie, you might not necessarily want to see certain ad products or see certain capabilities pop up within that window. So we're also being really conscious about ad load. And we launched Disney Plus AVOD with a lighter ad load. Because we know that there's a lot of long-form content and a lot of storytelling that happens there within the IP that I talked about earlier, that we might not, consumer might not be as receptive to the amount of ads that they're seeing elsewhere. But that IP, that differentiated content across all, and knowing that certain ad products and certain capabilities will be transferable, and learning those insights early with Hulu, because it is 15 years old, is really an amazing asset that we have. We didn't just get in the game, we've been in the game for a very long time.
Right. I want to draw you out a little bit more. And Disney, maybe one of the first thoughts that an advertiser or marketer is going to think about is, as you said, world-class brands, world-class content. And we've also know 2 world-class streaming platforms. But more so recently, people are going to associate Disney, the Disney brand inside of the media ecosystem, with tech stack. And explain to me, can we put the third piece in? Is it a world-class tech stack? How so? What does identity play? How about data tools? Is it the triple play?
Definitely it's a triple play. We like to say identity is the new currency, and we've built an audience graph over the course of the past 7 years. That's 250 million device IDs, maps to 110 million households. So it really powers a lot of what we do from an audience perspective and from a data perspective. Out of the audience graph has been born our Disney Select segment, so our first party data. We have 2,000 turnkey segments that advertisers can tap into today that are accessible. So we have those cataloged by category, so we know the insights and the audiences that autos want to reach. We know what CPG wants to reach based on all of the history and that building of the tech stack and the audience graph over the past 7 years. So those are accessible to advertisers today. In addition to that, our audience modeling and data science team has really been ahead of the curve as it relates to clean rooms, which is really exciting. We have over 100 clean rooms stood up. So it's not a conceptual thing, it's actionable, and we're actually actioning and advertisers are actioning inside of the clean room. Whether that be pre-planning insights, so looking to see where there's audience overlap and where they're missing audience across the Disney portfolio, whether that be activation, buying within that. I talked earlier about interoperability with the trade desk and clean room integration with Video Amp. That's all accessible in our clean room environments. And then of course measurement being the final piece of the puzzle. All of that capability inside of a clean room in the most privacy compliant way to exchange, and there's obviously no exchange, it all sits inside of the clean room and there's no exchange of data. That is really important for us, for our advertisers, and for our agencies. So almost every agency holdco has a clean room stood up with us, and then we have a lot of marketer direct clean room integrations as well.